stories, and you also get connected to a lot of people. Yeah, and this is not only a theory that we learn here. It's something really, really life experiential. And when we really experience things, things will happen. Yeah. So let's make this event as a contributing event not only to this region but also to your life. Yeah. So if you may, boleh do, yeah, you can move forward and fill the empty seats up front, so we can connect better with people. Yeah, you can also change where you sit. Yeah, tadi pagi, this morning, you have already known some people, but there are still a lot of people here you haven't already known. So just move, meet new people. The Indonesian guys don't just stick there together. You can, scramble around and meet the other participants here and connect. Yeah. I haven't really connected myself with you. I haven't properly introduced myself. My name is Bezi Galimanggala. You can call me Bezi. I'm the program director of SBM Pro Indonesia. Therefore, I learned a lot from Mr. Budisman. Actually, I'm a mentee. It's kind of an apprentice program. He hired me as the operational director, chief operational officer in his consulting company. So we work a lot with SMEs. We develop SMEs like Warung Abnormal and stuff. And Indonesia Group, the guy who have a bakery and build $1 million profit. And I'm very passionate in developing the SMEs, and also I have a background as a breakthrough trainer. Only local ones, but I aspire that one day I can be an international speaker. So this is my first international stage. I'm really nervous actually, but so thank you. So yeah, I hope that I can really connect better with you guys. I'm very happy that Suli has shared her story today with us. I learned a lot, and also the chef. Where's Chef Ali? He's out there cooking, yeah? Good. So I also learned a lot from him, and I just connected with Mr. Steve, Sulis Lilik, Mr. Lilik, and I shared with him that we also do some things in the villages. Okay. Yeah, we invite people to get back to the village and do some things. I also have my own school, SMK, the senior high school in my village, and we help people to go to school. Before our school, it was only 30% from junior high school to senior, and now we have our school to make some change. Here I really want to contribute to you guys, share your stories, and you can also share your stories. Yeah, not only asking questions when the speakers have shared their stories, you can also share. Okay, it's really interesting. How are you? How's the lunch?
It's very good.
It's very good. Okay, thanks to Chef Alwi. Okay, I would like to. I don't want to waste all of your time. So maybe I will invite all of the panelists that we will talk to this afternoon. The first one is Mr. Budiman Go, International Director of Garuda Food. Mr. Budiman, okay, please come to the stage. Okay, please sit, Mr. Budiman. And then next one, Mrs. Bella Khaja, founder of Nimble Marketing Consultancy and FM Bootcamp. Please come to the stage. Hello, Mrs. Bella. And then we will have Mr. Steve Remington, founder of Minera. Please come to the stage. Thank you very much. And last but not least, I want to invite Mr. Christopher Top, founder of Social Group. Please give a big round of applause. Okay. Okay. 3 gentlemen and 1 woman. Very beautiful woman. Okay. We will have a talk about how SME benefit from digital transformation era, right? So we will talk about digital, but a little bit about SME, focusing on SME. Maybe first of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Aditya Hadi Pratama. I'm a journalist from a media platform called Tech in Asia. We are actually our headquarters is in Singapore, but we also have an office in Jakarta and in Tokyo. And besides media, we also have event platform because we want to connect all of the stakeholders in tech startup ecosystem, including government, including startup founder, investors, and maybe developers. And we also have a job platform to connect the startup who want to find new talents or developers and the people, developers, or maybe a lot of young guys who want to work in a startup. That's all from me. And now I would like to pass my mic to the handsome guy beside me, Mr. Christopher. Yeah. That's the fault of you because you like sit beside me. So I would like to let you start the panel by introduce yourself. What is actually social groups and what's the connection of your business and maybe digital transformation or SME? Please.
All right. So thank you so much for introducing me, and thank you so much to the organizers for inviting me. Traveled from KL to Batam. First time I've actually visited a place that Wat Chukang always talk about. You know, it's amazing to see the livelihood. Yesterday, I think we went to Nasi Padang, just at the side there as well. So it's really great to be here. Yeah.
The name is Sederhana, but it's not really
Sederhana. No, yeah, correct. Sederhana name is really good. It's really nice. So, okay, so I run a boutique agency called socialgroups.com. Why social groups? It's because I believe that any business can be very groovy, you know, even the most what people think is very boring, it can be very exciting. We just haven't found a connection with your community. And our tagline is connecting businesses and communities, which is very similar to what the root warmers are saying, isn't it? The communities are the actual people that you have to work with, because if without them, there's no business. So that's what we do. We connect the social element of the everyday people, your consumers, the everyday people who still haven't become your consumers, to get to know your brand, engage with them, and eventually they are buying your product not because it solves their problem, but it's not because of the pricing. You know, it's not because of easy access. It's because they believe in the brand that you're starting. And I think that's essentially every successful company. You know, they have that branding sorted, and they want to tell people this is who we are. So when you are our customer, you're not just using our products, our service. You are also believing in what the company stands for, and you want to go long, far. You know how everybody says that we spend a lot on getting new incoming. In fact, this is startup. You know, it's always this thing about how much money it costs to bring a new customer, but nobody talks about the loyalty. How much money you should put to retain the customers at the same time. So at the end, you get all the old customers all forgotten in order to get new customers. For us, social media can help to do both at the same time. Both talk to the current customers so they become your advocate, your so-called celebrity lah. Kan everybody is a celebrity when they are customers. At the same time, to get new customers. So that is what social group is all about. We don't just do like social media, Facebook management, Instagram lah. Now TikTok kan. I think TikTok now allowed in Indonesia but again. You know, we don't just work on the platform. We work on the people, a human bit of why, you know, instead of just talking to you, now we can use these channels to reach out to everybody and help them to start this thing. Now, how is this relevant for the SME industry? A lot of SME people think that the social media is just social media marketing. You know, Facebook, create video, create content, posting, and advertising. It's not just that. It's also internal transformation, the digitizing of your operations. How many of you know that you got a lot of engagement on Facebook, but behind your sales staff is still using paperwork, catch up from this client A, client B, client C, and oh no, I've forgotten where this paper go to. I've forgotten. But now there's CRM solutions. There is email mailing list that you can automate. After 3 months, the client didn't talk to you. 3 months automatic, they send an email. And sometimes they are like, oh yeah, I want to get this. I've forgotten that time I was so busy. Now I got it. So digital transformation is not just being on social media. on the Facebook and all these other channels. It also internally, your business process needs to be digitized. Then you will see the effect of funneling from how much money you spend outside to get them to come to know your brand, all the way to sales, which is how every company is is looking at for KPI. So that's what we do. Social Groups doesn't just give you the digital marketing management. We also transform internal processes and digitize it so that you can get the best efficient in terms of business goals.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Christopher, and then to Mr. Steve. Maybe you can explain to us what is Minera and what do you think about digital transformation that can be beneficial to the SMEs.
Yeah, thanks very much. So Minera is a consulting company that I founded 9 years ago, initially in Australia, and for the last 3 years I've been based in Singapore. My primary focus of markets has been Singapore and Indonesia. I'm in Jakarta about 1 week a month at the moment. And what we do is we do data analytics for companies. So you may have heard of data science, you may have heard of big data, you hear all these buzzword terms around. And what I like to do is simplify all of that and to say, it's all analytics is using data that you have in your business to help you understand what is happening, understand why it is happening, and allow you to make informed decisions about what you do in your business. That's it. Now, some of the technology involved in that can be a little complicated if you're a very large company, but if you're an SME, it doesn't actually have to be that complicated. So what we do is we focus on a lot, we do the technology, but we focus a lot similar on the people aspect of it, because I can give you the best technology in the world. But if you as a business owner, the people in your company are not data literate, it's pointless. It's like, I can give you Microsoft Word, but if you don't know how to read and write, there's no point in you having Microsoft Word. So we focus a lot on helping businesses not just create the tools, but know how to use the tools to help them make better decisions in their business. And as I said, we focus on the people aspect of it and then work back into the technology. So how does this affect SMEs? A couple of things. It is now the best and easiest time for SMEs to use and compete equally with big companies as far as data analytics is concerned. Many of the tools that you will use are either free or quite low cost. The computing power that you need, you don't have to spend tens of thousands of dollars now. You can literally pay cents per hour and rent it from Amazon or Alibaba or wherever. The complexity of the tools now is very low, so to actually use this technology is quite easy. In fact, some of the technology that I'm working with now, it doesn't just tell you what happened, so it doesn't just say, okay, my profit last month was 20% lower than it was the month before. It can tell you why did that happen? What was the factors that drove your profit down? Well, your profit was down because you made the same amount of sales, but your cost of goods went up, for example. So you don't have to be a data analyst yourself to do it. And I'm going to let you in on a dirty little secret about large corporations in Singapore and Indonesia.
Malaysia.
And I cannot confirm nor deny that this is happening in Malaysia, but I've got a rough guess it probably is happening. Most of the large corporations, local and MNCs, are still using very old, manual, clumsy technology to do data analytics, or not even doing it at all. So Pak Budi said earlier about it is easier now for SMEs to compete with larger companies because it's easier for you to market and advertise and set up online stores. Guess what? You can also compete as easily with these companies as far as data analytics is concerned, because the tools are easy to use, the tools are easy to acquire, and they're just not, honestly, I was surprised. I go into I've been into very large companies in Indonesia and go, really? You're still using like a sharp stick and a flat rock to solve these problems? So, and they then and ah about whether they should use new technologies. So you can leapfrog them. If they're your competitors, you can make smarter and faster decisions than they do, because they're just not using the tools that are available to them. So, and the other thing is, Chris was talking about, you use your CRM system, you might have an accounting system. Guess what happens when you use a CRM system or an accounting system? You're creating data for free. You've got records of who you sold things to. You've got records of how many contacts your salespeople made. You've got records of how many people responded to your mail-out campaigns, or how many people liked your Instagram post, or how many people visited your website. You're getting all of this data for free. And the other thing is, it is unique to your company. Something that is unique to your company is, in a technical term, is classified as a strategic asset. It's something that you have that no one else can replicate. They might replicate your process, they might replicate your marketing, but they can't replicate the data that you have about your business and the data that you have about your company. Studies have shown that companies that use data to make decisions are 4 to 6% more profitable than companies who don't. Is that a good deal? Yeah. You've got an asset. If you use it, you will be 4 to 6% more profitable simply by using that data. And the ability for you to use that asset is so much easier now. You will also have better understanding of your suppliers. You will have better understanding of your customers. You will have better understanding of your internal processes. You will have higher return on equity. This is not just me going, yeah, I think this is a good idea. These are results of actual research that's been conducted into companies that do and companies that don't use analytics. The opportunity for this used to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to do this. In fact, a project that I sold into a large telco into Australia a long time ago, with hardware, software, would have cost about $220,000. Probably $10,000 now, so that's equivalent, and would have happened much faster. So it is so much easier to do, but the challenge is for maybe particular older, more experienced business people who think, oh well, I don't need that stuff because I know it all. I'm not discounting your experience. Your experience is incredibly important, but business now is so complex that you can't fit it all in your head. The amount of storage space in your head to manage it all in one, it just doesn't exist. And if you want your business to grow, Chef was saying before, it said, why are you training your competitors? I want people in my business so I can stand here and give presentations. So if you want your business to grow, you need platforms that allow people in your business to understand the business and make decisions in the business as well as you can. And using tools like analytics will allow that to happen.
Okay, thank you, Steve. And next, Kim, Miss Bella. What is actually Nimble Marketing Consultancy? I think we have talked about the FEM bootcamp last night, right? Can you maybe focus on Nimble Marketing Consultancy and how digital transformation can affect SME?
In a lot of ways, but before I get, thank you so much for the insight. That I am the only lady in this panel. Is it? Okay. Cheerful ladies.
It's way better than there being none.
Alright, so my name is Bella Kaja, and basically I'm the founder of Nimble Marketing Consultancy. And what we do at Nimble is we use social media and content strategy to build a brand audience, but more so building communities from the ground up. So we build fans, like we generate, we basically engineer virality. We get clients get so viral with us, the content strategy that we propose, and after they get viral, we build the audience from the ground up, and then we turn them into fans and evangelists, which is something that we hardly talk about. We talk about so much about data, but we don't really understand. A lot of businesses don't understand what to do with the human data or the customers that you really genuinely have. So today's perspective, at least for what I want to offer, is I want to offer a perspective of how to use and how you can use social media to understand exactly the customers that you have, how to turn that customer into a brand evangelist, and then how we can all basically continue to nurture this audience of ours. Because at the end of the day, the customer acquisition, when you use social media or content strategy, is actually zero. You are actually just basically writing content. You are producing content that is useful, that is helpful, and you're building art, and you're building customers, and you're building brand loyalty, and after which you nurture them into a place where they genuinely love to be a part of your brand or on your products and your services. And this is something that we just hardly businesses talk about or implement. So how do I feel about digital marketing? How do we even digitize our service? Honestly, it really starts from what you have. Understand first what are your limitations to your business. Perhaps it could be, am I already collecting data from my email database? As simple as that. Are you already collecting or segmenting the ones who have already bought your purchases for the very first time, the second purchases, the third and the fourth? Are you putting them in a simple platform like even an Excel spreadsheet, right? And if you have already done Excel spreadsheet, you can always move on to a CRM. There's a lot out there. There's HubSpot. And HubSpot is free. The CRM on HubSpot is fantastic. It's free, and small business owners are not using this. They don't know. Right? So they're still doing Excel, they're still doing Microsoft and things like that. But the moment a small business or a small medium enterprise actually adopt these simple things, right? Like email marketing, like social media, content strategy, building an audience from the ground up, you truly then can embrace the whole spectrum of the potential of digital on a whole. So it really starts with what you have. Ask yourself, do you have, if you have limited resource, you have a pool of talented people. All right, there's a bunch of people here who can do content. There's a bunch of people who do sales. Content strategy and sales people work very in tandem together. Do you know that? We cannot be producing content for nobody. You have to produce content that is specific for the audience that you're trying to acquire. So content strategy, if anyone wants to understand more about content strategy, you can always talk to me afterwards. But really, when we talk about content strategy and social media to basically, promote, or not even just promote, to raise brand awareness, that is really key. So I think we all experience or seasoned marketeers, seasoned business owners. But I think some of us have just lost a little bit of touch. You are afraid of social media. And I think social media has a lot of backlash, right, Christopher? Like a lot of people think there's no KPI for social media. They go like, oh, well, I cannot get sales from social media. But actually, it's not. If you understand that social media is not a tool, firstly, understand that social media is not a tool to get sales. It is not. A social media is a vehicle to raise brand awareness. And in the pipeline, it may just bring you sales. The moment a business owner understands this, then you have utilized social media in the correct sense. But maybe I'll elaborate that a little bit much later. But essentially, that's what we do. At Nimble Marketing Consultancy, we build audiences from the ground up. We use the potential of social media, and not, when I say social media, not just Instagram, not just Facebook. We are understanding LinkedIn. We understand how to use Twitter. We understand how to use YouTube. Right? We are using a lot of social networks to raise awareness. Yeah, MySpace. Oh, Friendster. Right. Sorry. I know, right? Everyone remember Friendster? Yeah. So we're using all these social networks to basically build an audience like you genuinely love. So ask yourself, before I pass the mic, ask yourself again, who are my audience? Who are my genuine audience that really will turn into brand evangelists? Ask ourselves, how do we turn from fans to evangelists? And that is the thing that I want to share a little bit more today, maybe if we have time to elaborate. But yeah, let's pass on the mic. Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Bella. And now, give a big round of applause for all of the panelists here. And then last but not least, we have Mr. Budiman Go from Garuda Food. But as we know, Garuda Food is producing nuts, but we will not talk about nuts here. So maybe I know you have like several projects outside Garuda or maybe something. Maybe you can share about how you, based on your opinion, how digital transformation can transform SME.
Yeah, thank you, Aditya. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the committee, especially Elmi, who invited me here. So actually, it's just like putting a wrong guy in the... No. Yeah, I've spent 20 years in Garuda Food. As you know, Garuda Food, we produce peanut, right? And very, close to the rural area farmers. And for 20 years, I think this 5 years, I've been expanding the business to many countries, especially at ASEAN Countries, Southeast Asia. Friend of mine in Malaysia and Singapore, just now we talked that our product is represented there, and she knows the product very well, so one of our loyal customers. So I'm not going to talk about Garuda Food in what our operation and how we manage Garuda Food. Half of my life is dealing with the small medium enterprise. I think I am involved in almost 20 startup companies, while also still mentoring quite a lot outside of this Garuda Food company. My major is informatics. 1998, I was in informatics in Institute Teknologi Bandung, so it's another part of Indonesia. I think some of you guys know Institute Teknologi Bandung. Major in informatics, that's why I'm still very keen to learn about the digital. And my thesis is about sensor and robotics as well. So that's why I deal also with programming and robotic things. Some of the project or startup company that I built with all those young talents is vary from agriculture, farming, and up to IoT, robotics, and nanotechnology, big data as well, and also blockchain, and I think so many. But we will elaborate later on. This is not the forum to elaborate, right? So my presentation, or what I'm going to highlight here, is that, I don't know, in the subsection of the title, if I'm not mistaken, we are talking about how SME related to current digital technology, but also the subtitle is about how people development also important, if I'm not mistaken. So I will start with actually to highlight about the people issues. In many forums, when I attend and share to many businessmen, I think some of you here also lecturer in university, and many also startups here, or I think from also regulators. I always told everyone that you can buy machine. You can ask what is your Steve, right? You can ask Steve to how to use your data in more effective way. You can buy machine. You can buy system overnight. If you have money, if you have resources, you can buy those systems overnight. Whatever sophisticated those systems or those machines, you can buy overnight. But you cannot build people overnight. That is for sure. So all now, in my career, 20 years in Garuda Food and helping those talents, young talents in startups, my current issue is about the talents. We are lack of talents. We have a shortage of talent. Not only in Indonesia, I believe all Singapore, Malaysia, you also face the same issues, right? We are shortage of talent. when Narendra Modi was elected as a Prime Minister in India, I was there at that time. When the his first speech, he mentioned about how India will compete in the future in human resource terminology. You know, actually, before he mentioned those issues, we know exactly in the United States that most Fortune 500 company, their CEO is Indian, right? So you can see Sunil Gupta in Google and many others, you know, Cisco's or IBM, Microsoft. So I think Modi just want to emphasize that the future wars is about talent wars. It's not about how good is your manufacturing facility or anything. It's about talent. It's about talent wars. So coming back to that, then I will say that why it is hard to find a good talent in this emerging startup, especially in the small medium enterprise. It's because the entire system, the educational system, the social and political system doesn't move toward that way. You know that? So how can you produce in your university student which still learn 20 years ago curriculums? Okay? So I don't know what do you expect from those old ancient curriculums to face the future. This future is incredible. I can tell you a lot of changes. I think you face it every day, right? So you face it every day. You know, if people ask me, Mr. Budiman, you and Garuda Food, who is currently your biggest competitor? Everyone is always talking about which your competitor. Is it Mayora in Indonesia? Or is it Manchi in Malaysia? Is it any Jack and Jill in Philippines or whatever? I said, come on. If I have done a research and my biggest competitor is student, their pocket money. Their mother giving it to them, right? And long ago, 10 years back, they spend their pocket money buying food and drink, right? So what did they do now? Half of them went to the data package. Right? Long ago in Indonesia, we know Tuna Wisma, Tuna Wicara, Tuna Rungu. Currently, we have Tuna Wi-Fi and Tuna Packet Data. So why I'm saying this is because the competition is not in a what we call linear way anymore. The competition is so complex now. So it requires, talent which cope with that future needs. That is my issue. That's the biggest issue that we have. So you see, we will face the
is this you don't have to be on a social network that you think your competitor is already doing well. If I am no longer, if I know I have no audience on Facebook, I wouldn't waste my time on marketing on Facebook and trying to build an audience from the ground up on Facebook. I put a lot of my efforts on Instagram as well as building content on my LinkedIn, trying to build my personal brand on LinkedIn because I know I have an audience. So start where your audiences already are. So a brand is three things. It's either you're building your corporate brand, or you're working on your personal brand, or you're working on your product brand. It's very basic. But how you build that brand and where you use digital to enhance that brand awareness to these three things, that is up to you for you to analyze, to assess. So the easiest, start with yourself, your personal brand. And what social network can we do to build our personal brand? LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the best social network. So that's a perspective that I would like to offer. But yes, empower your staff to be digitally literate. If you want to learn more about growth hacking and how we growth hack our customers, read this book called by Ryan Holiday. Ryan writes beautifully about growth hacking, and I love growth hacking myself. And I want to see that you are implementing things like growth hacking, because growth hacking assumes this: you are working with very small resource, right? You're trying to build as much as you can within that small, with little to no resource in a short period of time, right? So how do you acquire customers? How you engineer virality through that short period of time? And if you can actually implement growth hacking into your business, I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Ms. Bella. Now, Mr. Budiman, in your opinion, like how can we change the mindset of the SMEs toward the digital transformation? You said that okay, they have like there is something wrong in their mindset because they don't see the future. But how can we like change that mindset?
So I think a forum like this is one of the way, and I suggest to have like incubators, like SME incubators, not in the city but also moving to the suburban area. If you want to cater this SME to know technology, so, the beauty of let me share something, because I think this is the golden moment for SME.
Yeah.
Why I said this is a golden moment for SME? Because I've been with the corporate 20 years, right? So whoever learned from big corporation, I think is totally wrong. So SME, if you try to learn from big corporation and you are very happy because, wow, there's somebody from Garuda Food come, or from you, from Indo Food come, Unilever come to teach you about SME, totally wrong. I'm not saying that they are not good in this thing, but how can you have, like me, I have around 400 billion rupiah every year to spend for the advertisement, or whatever type of advertisement. While SME, you don't have that luxury, right? But why I said that this is a golden moment, just mentioned by Bella. I think as I told you, I've been involved with so many startups. And I'm a very micromanagement guy. I'm not talking about high-level language only. So growth hacking is what I think. If you ask a startup in Indonesia, a good startup, they always already implement growth hacking. So you cannot get Travelodge all of a sudden get a very huge amount of money and then spend it to anything, you know. Also, you see Gojek also start with this venture. I think it's only $100,000 first investment. But all of that, they can use it very efficiently by applying the growth hacking technique, right? This growth hacking technique, sorry if I mistakenly quote the word growth hacking, but because this is a very, it is a very buzzword among us startup, So growth hacking, if you implement it in a small medium enterprise, it will be very powerful. But it is not just like trying to do some content marketing, inbound and outbound marketing. It's a series of a very complex work with a very tight timeline if you want to be successful. It's not only one-day seminars, then you go back and you are then to becoming a growth hacker. It's not. So if you really want to use social media, email marketing, or whatever marketing you call it, content marketing, then you have to implement those growth hacking technique. Okay, I highlight the second, I'll talk about the second thing is, so many companies, not the startup company, but as well as the established company, now they are not easy to turn to digital. Why? Because they are marketing managers, almost 40, 50 years old, and I think they are not playing TikTok as well, right? So how can they know the young generation lifestyle, mindset, and everything? That's also, I said, if you don't change your marketing manager, you will not get into the digital marketing strategy. I think that highlights those two issues.
Okay, really interesting. Thank you. Give a big round of applause for all the panelists here. I still have several questions, but I think I want to give opportunity for all of the audience. Is there any one of you who have questions for all the panelists here? Raise your hand. How about the misconception of the digital transformation? As Chris said that. Okay, I think that's not all SMEs have to have
Instagram account maybe, or maybe Twitter account, or maybe even they don't, some SMEs don't really need to have a website, right? But is there any other misconception that you think that, a lot of people think about this, but actually it's wrong? Chris, maybe you can jump on it.
See, there's a lot of myths, yeah. For example, did you know that Facebook users are decreasing? Yeah? So for those of you who are aware, the share stock for Facebook has been decreasing, and that's Mark Zuckerberg losing billions. And yeah, it's still a lot of money. But the reality is that people are moving. So channels are always creating. I think you know TikTok. It's coming up. TikTok is our client as well, so we got some inside information on why their growth is like. So even these people are disrupting themselves. I was just sharing with Aditya that one of the biggest reasons is that TikTok allows people to download the video into your phone. Do you realize that? No other network allows you to do that because everyone wants you to stick to their site. Stick to me. Don't go anywhere else. Just like Apple, right? Apple only want you to use their Apple Store. Google wants to use their Google Shop. So these are the changes that we are seeing. So and this will always happen. So myths, it is one big myth that only one platform is the main one. We have to keep looking, and the only way to keep looking is to keep being updated. So if you're not subscribed to any of these, like the social media websites, these are free news out there. It's free, they'll send you an email. They literally want to WhatsApp you information. Then you have to do it now. Then you will get rid of all these myths that you think. Then after that, it didn't turn out to be true. That's one example. I probably can think of another, but I'll give the chance to the others panelists to share.
A couple of myths from an analytics perspective is, firstly, and I've mentioned this to a couple of people here, big data is a myth. It's just data. It's just data. You don't walk up to a 7-foot-tall basketball player and go, "Oh, big human," and treat them differently to a normal-sized person or a short person. Yes, you may have to stretch your neck to look at them, but that's the only way you treat things differently. And the reason big data exists as a term is consulting companies, software vendors want things to sound complicated. Because complicated also starts with another word, is cash. They get more cash when things are complicated. So that's firstly, data is data, and it's like, oh, well, I can't use analytics because I don't have big data. You use whatever you've got. If you've got 100 customers, you've got information on the entire population of your customers. Okay, it's 100 records, but it's your data. It's special to you. You might have 10,000 Facebook followers, Instagram followers. Okay, you've got 10,000 pieces of information that you can analyze and make sense of.
Misconception with social media, one of which is a lot of, if you have a lot of followers, that will equate to engagement. So that is one of the biggest misconceptions. A 10K following account doesn't mean that your Instagram feed will have that much engagement. So how do we measure engagement? As simple as this. If you're on Instagram, if you truly want to see whether or not a piece of content that you put out is returning an engagement of sorts, check the insights. Okay, just check the insights and see how many of those posts were saved. Right? There is a little mark there at the corner that looks like a bookmark. So if you check your insights, assuming that all of us have an Instagram business account, check how many saves there are from that post that you post up, because that is one KPI to know that yes, my content is engaging. So another thing about social media as well is shareability when it comes to Facebook. If you decide to do a video one day and then you are hoping that it will be shareable and it does not, ask yourself why? Why is my content not shareable? So a lot of misconception. Again, the bigger the audience pool, it does not mean that your content is engaging. So here's here's the way to bypass that. How do we get engaged? How do we get engagement from an audience? You have to fit the content strategy to an audience that that resonates only with particular content. Meaning to say, if you know that the audience love tutorials, right? Simple tutorials like cooking tutorial or like a makeup tutorial. No, I'm just giving like female analogies here. Yeah. So if you know that the content, so if you know your audience like them, you know that they get shares, right? Ask yourself, how do I use the same content pillar and then try to hope that I can sell something right at the end. So you hook them with a shareable video, a video, right? And then at the end of the day, you slide them like, all right, here's my sales speech. That always works, at least with one of my strategies that we use. So again, shareability is very important. If you do want to take on video marketing, ask yourself, if I produce this content, will it get shared? And if you're on Instagram, ask yourself, all these posts, how many people actually save my post? Try it on your phone right now, you'll be very surprised. Your phone, that little button there at the corner, will tell you how many people actually came to that post that many reach, and how many people actually saved that post. Another thing that I want to say, Facebook is dying, I think. Yeah, it's very stressful as a marketer, honestly it is. Because you go from network to network and you're like, oh my god, like, what do I do best now for my client? Because today I market for him, I promote him on Facebook, tomorrow I go like, oh no, this is not going to work. And he picked me.
Yeah, the biggest misconception about this digital world is actually many companies try to implement ERP system and telling me that, hey guys, I'm in a digital world now. I said, what? Come on, you are still in data processing world, right? I mean, it is not because you have your IT system implemented in your company or your institution that you call yourself that you are in the digital world, because it's it's a two different meaning. So I think that's the first misconception. And again, the other misconception is about when Mr. Budiman, you told me to use social media here and there, it doesn't work. You said it's very powerful, right? So I said, it's not, there are two things, you know. First, you have to understand that Instagram, Facebook, and so on and so forth, all social media, because I have a machine, No Limit have a machine which is crunching terabyte that unstructured data. Unstructured means your conversation in the social media, right? And you know, the algorithm keep changing. So currently, if you blast to your using one buzzer to blast your content, long ago, or maybe 3 months or 4 months ago, it works. But now it won't work because Facebook and Instagram already changed the algorithm. So, you know, I cannot tell you all these bunch of story if you are not putting yourself in passion to this changing digital world. You have to be very passionate in it. Like just our chef always said, I don't know why my teacher told me to keep 5 years on the same job, right? I think this is because Malcolm Gladwell raised the same issues. If you don't spend 10,000 hours in the particular passion that you have, then you are nothing. You are not going to become a blink, you know? So it's the same issue. If you want to know the dynamic of the changes of all this digital world, you have to be there. It's like, you know, a gurita octopus. They have a tentacles, the arm reaching everywhere. Email marketing, how is it? Content marketing, how is it? Facebook, how is it? How is it? How about
the whole system of your company, production, your inventory, the whole thing. Because right now it's very just limited to, let's say, notification, emails, that kind of things. But you want, apart from the sales part that you have, I want to integrate all the way to my production, my inventory, everything into my accounts. I know it will go so, but that is the one platform that you can integrate further. Some people cannot integrate, they just go for
important in that process of digitizing. So that helps. And if you want to know more about how to do better social listening, you can just go to SEM Rush, and it will tell you some of the issues that customers genuinely are really facing when it comes to understanding a certain product or a business, right? So that's one. A lot of businesses don't really do social listening, so I think that's great. And if I have to end off, right? It's almost coming to the end of. Is it an hour already? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have been speaking for 1 hour. Wow.
1.5 hours.
1.5 hours. Oh, people like watching
Didn't
1
realize
hour.
that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so, I know, right? Okay, are you all still awake? Are awake, right? Okay. Okay. So if you do want to embark on a digital transformation, know that it is small steps to very big steps, right? What you can do now with regards to social media. If you are on social media, how do I improve my engagement? That is a simple ROI you can start with before you even pay someone to do your entire website revamp. Because it will not make sense to revamp a website when you don't even understand your audience, you don't even understand how the customer journey really works. So start with what you have. So social listening and doing with what you have, and really, honestly, I think every one of us here in this room have the potential to growth hack our business. So I really think everyone should really genuinely understand growth hacking and see how that can be implemented in you as a methodology. Yeah.
Okay, Budiman, your final advice, addition to the SMEs here.
Okay. Yeah, will not take long. Final advice. I always told everyone, so many people do ordinary things, but expect extraordinary result. I'm going to say that this is insane, right? So if you guys here, you still keep doing the same thing that you do 5 years ago, you did 10 years ago, and you keep expecting that you will get a bunch of extraordinary results, I think we are on the same insane planet. Okay, so guys, I think all of Crystal, Steve, and Bella already introduced you and explained a lot about how you're going to start your transformation in digital. And I hope this is not...
Maybe you can